Good morning everyone, and welcome to the Glasgow International Swim Meet for 2022. I'm delighted you've joined us. We have some exciting and hopefully some fast racing in prospect. This is the third edition of the Glasgow International Swim Meet, of course interrupted by the pandemic, and we had a meet in the 2018-2019. Last year was a little bit different. We had the 2021 version in conjunction with British Swimming, which was part of a selection event, of course, for the very important international competitions last summer. Wherever you join us from in the world, you're very welcome. We have some visitors from overseas joining us here in Glasgow. We have swimmers from Denmark who've just been treating us to some poolside team building and noise building. We also have swimmers from Iceland and Ireland, and we're delighted to be joined by our cousins from the south, England and Wales, and we have 47 Scottish clubs competing. So overall we have 63 teams at this meet from as far apart as the Thurso in the north and Plymouth in the south. We have Olympic medalists, we have national junior team swimmers, and we have many aspiring young athletes who have just been warming up in front of us here at the Tollcross International Swimming Centre. And we had Tears for Fears with some 1980s sounds. I think the swimmers themselves would probably have preferred some H or some Stormzy or some Burna Boy, but never mind, we didn't get any of that so far. And that authentic contemporary reference to music, which my co-commentator is very impressed with, is how I'm going to introduce Charlie Balderson, who's a coach here at City of Glasgow swim team, who's a GB international, senior international in his own right, competing at the World Short Course Championships in Canada 2016. Good morning, Charlie.
Good morning. Pleasure to be here and a part of the live stream team. So looking forward to some good racing. Pleasure
to have you, and we have some exciting racing coming up. We have a full slate of heats this morning and this afternoon, and of course the finals for those events this evening. We have roughly 5 or 6 heats in each of these events, men's and women's medley, over 200 metres, 100 metres of fly, 200 metres of backstroke, and then we finish off this morning's heat session with some splash and dash 50s, men's and women's freestyle, men's and women's breaststroke. Which of those particularly catches your eye, Charlie?
I'm looking forward to seeing some 200 backstrokes. That used to be one of my specialties. It's always good one to watch. It's quite an interesting race. It can be quite tactical, and it's definitely not the easiest race, especially on a Friday morning and the first session of a 3-day meet. So looking forward to that. Also looking forward to seeing the 200 IMs up first. We've got Duncan Scott in the men's, so excited to see what he can do. I think we'll probably see the best from him in the evening sessions. Likewise on the female side, we've got Katie Shanahan in the 200 IM, so looking forward to it. It's going to be a great show this morning.
Thanks, Charlie. And yeah, for sure, it is an important competition in the build-up to what's an incredibly busy summer on the domestic and international front. We have just 16 days to the World Para Championships in Madeira, and we have some swimmers here competing in Glasgow who'll be at those World Para Championships in just over 2 weeks' time. The World Championships themselves for able-bodied athletes across all aquatic disciplines are just over 3 weeks away. And then into the summer we have European Junior Championships, the British Summer Meet, and then the Commonwealth Games, of course, in Birmingham towards the back end of July, just 9 short weeks away. So lots and lots for people to get excited about on the swimming front, and as part of that build-up we have this 3-day meet here in Glasgow, which we're very excited to bring to you on this live stream. In front of you, the officials for the meet are just resplendent in their maroon and white garb, and they are taking their places for the start of this first morning heat session here in Glasgow. Charlie, Tollcross swimming pool, you coach here, but of course you swam here. What do you think of this incredible aquatic venue?
It's a brilliant venue. I've got some great memories from my own swimming here. It's always nice to see it dressed up for a meet like this, and I'm lucky enough to see it on a daily basis now, coaching at City of Glasgow. So yeah, love it here.
And we're ready to go. Bang on time, everyone. This is the first heat of 5 in the 200 metres individual medley for women. Just introducing the lead technical officials here in the venue itself, and the swimmers for the first heat are just making their way forward, adjusting the blocks and getting themselves ready to swim. We have lots of local interest in this first heat of the women's 200 IM with Rosie Liston, Alice Cumming, Talia Blackley and Cassie Wiper, all from City of Glasgow in the first 4 lanes. In lane number 4 we have Phoebe Arbuckle from the Scottish Swimming National Junior team. In 5 we have Freya Beaton, also from Glasgow. In the remaining lanes we have Ashley Merson from West Lothian, Poppy McDonald from West Dumbarton, and then 2 swimmers from East Lothian, India Marshall and Helen Stoddart. And we're just about ready to get that first heat underway. We have a couple of empty lanes already this morning, I think in lanes 6 and 7, so just 8 swimmers to go in this first heat. So 200 IM, that's a 50 metre on each of the strokes: butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke and freestyle. All of these are young swimmers in the main, 14, 15 year olds, with India Marshall, our oldest swimmer, at just 17. Charlie, I know you were good at backstroke medley. Did that feature in your development?
Definitely when I was younger, for sure. It was a great challenge of an event, because you do need to be good all round. And for me personally, my breaststroke was not my strongest, which, as we will find out this morning, is hugely important in the IM events. But I competed on a national level as a young swimmer in the 200 IM. Not so much the 400, but it's a very interesting race, because you'll see the leaders will chop and change throughout the race as different swimmers show their strengths on different strokes. And we've got a very strong start here from lane 9, Helen Stoddart. She's gone out fast in the fly and she's holding on the backstroke. As we move into the second half of the race, though, the breaststroke will be quite pivotal, and we'll see maybe some changes in the field. Freya Beaton looks like she's just going to get the touch. It actually goes to lane 0, Rosie Liston.
Bragging rights, I think, within City of Glasgow, a swim team on this one, as we see Helen Stoddart closest to us in lane number 9, but looking like she's pushing ahead now. Freya Beaton, the 14-year-old from Glasgow, an entry time of 2:33.60.
Yeah, looking strong on the breaststroke, Freya. Really hard worker, Freya Beaton. Great to see her out ahead of the first heat, the first race of the meet.
Delighted that we have a sprinkling of spectators on the opposite side of the pool from us. Great to see people back in and supporting and spectating at swimming events after such a long time away. So Freya Beaton looking like she's going to take this one. Her 150 metre split there was 1:37 with a 45-second breaststroke split. Being
chased fiercely by Alice Cumming, and coming through in lane 3, Cassie Wiper as well. It's definitely not over just yet, but Freya is looking strong going into the last 15 metres here.
So it's a strong swim from the 50 metre mark onwards for Freya Beaton. She's going to get her head down hopefully in that last 5 metres. She does. She takes it 2:32.79, which is under her entry time. She wins that first heat for the home club, and I'm sure she'll be pleased with her first swim, her first hit out at this Glasgow International meet. Good swim, Charlie.
Yeah, good finish from Phoebe Arbuckle as well there on the freestyle. Nearly catching up, but slightly outside of her best time, but it's a good strong heat swim to put her through, hopefully, to one of the junior finals.
No Those times look like they are official for us in that first heat, so we move on to heat number 2. We have a full 10-lane heat number 2 for the women's 200 metres individual medley. So here in the heat number 0, we have Sunniva Berg Asbjørnsdottir from Iceland. We have Ailey Armstrong in 2 from East Lothian, Kirsty Gilmer in 3 from Hamilton, Amber Stevenson from South Ayrshire in 3, Charlotte Hardy from the national junior team of Scotland in lane number 4, Jory Horn, City of Glasgow in 5, Zoe Crawford from first in 6, Natasha Simpson also from the national junior team in 7, Elsa Macdonald of Stockton in lane 8, and Katie Rose of Warrender in lane number 9. First to the 50 was Jory Horn.
31.12 there, looking strong on her fly, one of her strongest strokes. Also looking good in lane 3, Amber Stevenson. I've got to say well done, Alan, on the first Icelandic name. We've got some good to see the Icelandic team over here, but it's definitely presenting some challenges for us on the live stream.
We'll be fine, we'll be fine. If you are listening from Iceland, you're very, very welcome to join us here in Glasgow, once called the second city of the empire. Not sure that's something to be proud of, but here we go. These swimmers will be proud of their first 100-metre split.
Katie Rose touching there first with a 39.00 for her backstroke there, the second fastest in the field it looks like.
Looking like the home team are dominating these first couple of heats.
Yeah, Jory Horn now pushing forward on the breaststroke, working hard on that third 50. We'll see if she can hold on for the final 50, the freestyle. Lane 3, 4 and 5 are very close here.
What's really helpful for us here, both on the screen and in the venue, is the 50-metre splits, particularly on 200 metres IM. We can see where both the lead changes hand and what the different balance and percentages of the strokes as they make up this 200 metres individual medley. Last 25 metres then for this second heat. Jory Horn looking like she's just about going to hold on. She's being pressed very, very hard.
Lane 7 looking dangerous. Natasha Simpson. She might just catch her here. Very strong finish from Natasha.
It's all on the touch, and it goes to
100.
Jory Horn, 2/100s ahead, 2:29 for both of those girls, looking like they've also swum, certainly if not personal best times, season's best times based on these entries. So well done to them. Natasha Simpson of Warner, swimming under the national junior team banner, and very, very accomplished middle distance freestyler, so well done to her.
Moving on to the cyclically seeded heats now, so we'll start to see some of the faster swimmers in the middle lanes.
A full slate of 10 again for this third heat. We'll let the swimmers get started and introduce them to you. In lane 0 we have Jessica Heaps of Faulthouse. In lane 1, Rebecca Reid from Aberdeen. In 2 is Amy Watson of Inverclyde. 3 is Anna Ron of Denmark. 4, Elsa Macdonald from Edinburgh University. 5, Drew Mckenzie of the national junior team. Eva Margaret Feisdottir from Iceland is in 6. Millie Milne of Warrender in 7. Anna de Grossa of Best in lane number 8. And Ellie Sutherland, City of Glasgow, in lane number 9.
And Drew Mckenzie taking us out in 30.44 there. Strong looking fly leg. Elsa Macdonald also coming up now on the backstroke though, looking good.
Elsa Macdonald is a strong breaststroker, so if she's in touch at the halfway mark, I'm sure we'll see her power ahead on that third 50. Drew Mckenzie more of a sprint freestyler and flyer, but no slouch on the medley either, Charlie.
No, very versatile swimmer actually. Really impressive swimming in this season so far. Great performances at snags. and hopefully looking forward to seeing some good results in the summer.
Excellent roll over turn there, sorry Charlie, lane number 3 from our visitor from Denmark, Anna Ron, taking the lead in 67.67.
Good to see the crossover turns on display. One of the more complex turns, but really can pay off if you can get it right.
It is Elsa Macdonald, as expected, powering through on this third 50. Just staying in touch with her is Anna Ron and Drew Mckenzie, but looking like she's certainly the favourite going down this last 50 as they approach the 150 breaststroke to freestyle turn. That's Elsa Macdonald. Her split 40.42, turning in 148.55.
Showing her breaststroke strength there. You see how she holds on in the freestyle. Anna Ron looking strong on the freestyle, and she's breathing towards Elsa here, so it's going to be a little bit of a fight in the last 25 metres.
It is. This is probably our closest race so far, powering through in lane number 3. Anna Ron just overtaking Elsa Macdonald down that last 25 metres, head down into the wall. Nicely done, 2:21.24 for Anna Ron. It's just outside her entry time, but she'll be hoping that that gets her into the final later on today.
It's going to be interesting to see this morning how people approach their heats, because as the more experienced swimmers get in the water, they will know that they might not need to give 100% to progress through. But you also may see some swimmers who are looking to execute their race plan in the morning and test themselves in the morning heats. So I do expect that we'll see some who might be saving a little bit in the tank, but then also some who are looking to put it all on the line.
It looks like we're missing just one swimmer in this fourth of 5 heats. So in 0 we'll have Iona Wilson of East Lothian. In 1 we have Kiana Kurtza, the national junior team. No swimmer in 2 and 3 we have Fenya Romansky of Denmark. 4 is Lily Booker of Loughborough University. 5 Grace Davison of Ireland. Lane 6 is Holly Mcgill of the national junior team. Lane 7 Susie McNair of First. Lane 8 Ava Simpson of Edinburgh University, and lane 9 Ciara Davidson of Glasgow.
Lily Booker taken out in 28.8 there. If I'm not mistaken, I think Loughborough have just come back from an abroad training camp, so they'll be full of energy.
Yeah, they have, and interestingly this weekend sees a number of international events taking place. So Lily choosing to come here to Glasgow while some of her teammates are across in Barcelona or in Cannes, and she's certainly looking good for that decision at the moment. She is a strong breaststroker and freestyler, so this is a good lead for her at the halfway point. Again, very good and well accomplished, well executed rollover turn. Lily's split 35 for the backstroke, taking her out in 64.3 seconds.
A really strong split from Holly Mcgill as well in lane 6, 35.23 on the backstroke there. But we've got Grace Davidson moving through into second on the breaststroke leg here. Lily Booker still looking strong, not looking threatened too much right now. Good length on that breaststroke from Lily as well. Showing a real powerful kick and then holding into her glide. 40.0 on the breaststroke, 50 there, and moving into the freestyle. Looks fairly comfortable, Alan.
It does, yeah. Still not had anybody swim faster than 40 seconds for the breaststroke legs of those medleys. I'm sure we'll see faster than that this evening, particularly from such a strong breaststroker as Lily Booker. Grace Davidson also came through strongly on that third 50, but looking very, very comfortable heading into the wall for this penultimate heat. Lily Booker, very, very smooth looking, 2:18.5. I'm sure she'll have done just as fast as that in a training swim from a push-off, Charlie.
For sure. She looks reasonably happy with that as a heat swim. I'm sure she's got some extra things to work on for the final, and I'm sure we'll see a much faster swim this evening. But it looked nice, well executed heat swim. Good job.
So those results have been confirmed, and we head speedily to the last heat of 5, where we see the local favourite Katie Shanahan. Katie, a multiple medalist at junior level over the last couple of years, moving towards the senior ranks in her final year at school, and looking forward to seeing her swim in the summer. So the lineup for this 5th heat: Stella Mckenzie of Glasgow in 0, Isabel Wood of Stirling in 1, Michaela Glenister of Stirling in lane number 2, Carolina Kjellstrup of Denmark is in 3, Katie Shanahan in 4, Katie Robertson, Edinburgh University in 5, Maya Hall of Stockton in 6, Nuala Gow of Gary in 7, Lucy Stowes of Dundee City Aquatics in 8, and Ailey Robertson of South Ayrshire in lane number 9.
Katie leading it out there in the 29.2, but also Katie Robertson on her toes with a 29.6. Katie Shanahan, though, really strong on the backstroke now, moving away from the field slightly.
There is a link between the lanes 5 and 9. It's sisters, Katie and Ailey Robertson, hailing from the Ayrshire town of Ayr. Katie at Edinburgh University and very strong on breaststroke and freestyle, but at the halfway point, Katie Shanahan with a 35.06 split on that backstroke, 64.29, just 100 faster than the previous heats leader Lily Booker.
Starting to look quite relaxed from Katie, but coming through, Katie Robertson is seemingly attacking this breaststroke, and it's going to put Katie under some pressure here to maybe wake up a little bit for a heat swim. We'll see how she responds on the freestyle.
Yeah, the field is coming back at Katie Shanahan, but out in front, Katie Robertson. She may well be our first sub-40 breaststroke split.
39.58.
Nicely done. 147.77 for Robertson. She's heading down the final 50 with a couple of metres lead on Katie Shanahan, still in second place, but being hard pressed outside of her by Michaela Glenister, Stirling University.
Michaela Glenister very strong on the freestyle, so she's using that to advantage here as well. It's going to be a tight finish, but Katie might just push ahead here, Katie Shanahan. She's spotted Katie Robertson here, and she has just secured herself that first place finish in the heat. It's definitely not the fastest heat we've seen this morning.
No, I think comfortable would be the phrase there for the 4 ladies out in front, making their way towards the outside of the pool now. We'll get a rundown of this heat and then hopefully a rundown of all of the qualifiers. Shanahan taking that heat from Robertson, Glenister and Kjellstrup. We've got the men's version of this 200 IM to come, also with 5 heats.
Some empty lanes again in the first heat here.
Yeah.
Perhaps struggling to get the day off of school.
On the top right hand corner, the eagle-eyed amongst you will have spotted the meet record for that event, 213.74, which is held by none other than Hannah Miley from the University of Aberdeen. Hannah now retired from competitive swimming, but doing an immense amount of work supporting younger athletes, particularly young female athletes, as they develop in our sport. And not such a bad dog trainer either if you're keeping an eye on BBC. Anyway, here we go, heat number 1 of the men's 200 IM. Lane 1 we have Greg Hall of Aberdeen Performance, in 2 Kyle Mitchell of Geary, in 3 Owen Williamson, of East Lothian, and 4 Ben McLaughlin of Geary, 5 Gregor Ross from Glasgow, 6 Swally Talib from Stirling University, 7 is free, and then 8 we have Kyle Wong, City of Glasgow.
Swally Talib taking it out in 28.3. One of my previous swimmers I used to coach, now training with Josh Williamson in University of Stirling, so I'll try not to be too biased.
You go ahead, Charlie, be as biased as you like. It's interesting for our viewers and listeners if you have some insider knowledge on strengths and weaknesses of these swimmers. But Swally, a really good first 50 on fly, still pressing ahead, although being caught up by lanes 2 and 3.
Yeah, Swally, quite the sprinter, so the 200 AM is a challenging event for him.
Yeah, looking by the looks of that turn, it is a challenging event, Charlie. He had a little bit of a rest there, I think, on the back to breast.
I'm sure Josh will have some words. But he's holding on, but we do have a strong swim here in lane 2 from Kyle Mitchell. He's pushing through on the breaststroke. It looks like he's taking the lead. Swally is doing his best to hold on there. Also coming through Ben McLaughlin. This breaststroke length, as I said earlier, can be the decider, can be where the changes are made on the 200 IM, and it does look like Ben is capitalising on that now in lane 4.
Very good 400 IM swimmer, distance freestyle swimmer Ben McLaughlin, so he'll be strong down this last 50, and in fact he is ahead, 148.58.
Looks to have it now in the bag. The other boys in the field are chasing. We've got Gregor Ross maybe vying for that second place, but over in lane 1 now, Greg Hall is fighting hard towards the finish in the last 15 metres, but it does look like Ben McLaughlin's race here.
It is. McLaughlin takes it just outside
inside
the teens to 20.05, but yeah, inside his entry time.
Good swim from Ben there. Looks like personal best or season best, and he'll be happy with that in the morning.
Worth mentioning at this point, we have, as well as our overseas visitors, who we're delighted to welcome, we have a couple of special groups taking part. You'll have heard us mention the national junior team from Scotland, who are competing as part of their development this season. We also have the Commonwealth Games squad, who are not yet named as a team, but who are competing for their home clubs at the Glasgow International Meet, and those two groups are living and eating and travelling together into and out of the meet. So great experience for the youngsters, great opportunity for our Commonwealth Games hopefuls to tune up whether they're competing in the World Championships, the European Junior Championships, or indeed other meets in preparation towards Birmingham in the summer. So here we go then, we're ready for heat number 2 of this men's 200 metres IM, and we have a full list of 10 swimmers. One of them was a bit reluctant. It's a bit like trying to get horses into the starting gate there. He needed a little bit of a push. We won't name him and shame him. Lane number 0 is Connor Stewart of Stirling. Lane 1, Luke Porteous of East Lothian. 2 is Jonathan Venter of Perth City. 3 is Matthew Brown of Aberdeen Performance. 4, Rory McKinnon from the national junior team. 5 is Louis Lawler from City of Glasgow. 6 is Lucas Brown of the national junior team. Number 7 is Mad Muller of Denmark. Lane 8, Jake Holmes of City of Glasgow. And lane 9, Kai Connolly from the national junior team, who's also a Glasgow swimmer. This is his home pool.
Indeed. Good representation from City of Glasgow here. We've had Rory McKinnon go out quite strong on the fly. Also Mads Mora is now looking strong on the backstroke. From Denmark in lane 7.
Junior swimmers on the international stage. If you're a male, you can compete age 16, 17 and 18, and if you're a female, 15, 16 and 17. So some of these younger swimmers born in those years will be tuning up for those European Junior Championships, which are just a few short weeks away now, just over 5 weeks away in Romania. So it'll be interesting to see if our young Danish swimmer here, Mads Muller, will be participating in that event. He's certainly looking strong at the moment. He's being challenged now across there.
Brewer McKinnon and Matthew Brown both pushing forward on this breaststroke in lanes 3 and 4. We go into the final leg with Rory McKinnon back in the lead, and he is strong on freestyle. Really great performances earlier in the year at the snags, and he's looking great in the final 50 now.
He is looking very strong, not necessarily known for his medley prowess, but as a sprint freestyler, certainly showing some of that form here as he comes into the last 5 metres. Great skills, head down in the last 5, 2:14.37. That's inside his entry time by about half a second, so I'm sure he'll be very pleased with that. Took that race by the scruff of the neck and dominated over the last 100 metres.
It's good to see. It's probably an event that would take Rui out of his comfort zone, but there's huge importance and value in that. And it's good to see him holding on strong at the end there, at the end of the tough race. Good job, Rui.
And Louis Lawler in lane 5 from the home team, also just back from a sunny training camp in Lanzarote. The British Para World Championship team, we wish him all the best.
We've had 2 disqualifications actually, which is a shock, Rui and Louis.
So the commentators cursed there. We mentioned both of them prominently, Charlie, and they've been DQ'd, so apologies lads if we brought that upon you, but there will have been some infraction or other that the officials in maroon and white will have spotted, and unfortunately that good swim from Rory will not count. Louis didn't look too pleased with his anyway, but he certainly won't be happy if he's been disqualified after a poor swim.
No, definitely not what you want to see, but it's important for those, if there are technical infractions, important for them to be spotted, not only for the legitimacy of the meet, but also for the swimmers themselves. Louis going off to World Para Championships in a couple of weeks. If there's something there he needs to address in his turns, then it's great for him to know about it right now.
Yeah, he's certainly looking a little bit perplexed as he wanders back with Rory McKinnon. Both lads will have something to work on, I'm sure, in the days and weeks to come. We are heading for heat number 3, first of our cyclically seeded heats on the men's side. In lane 0 we have Micah van Blerk of Warrender. In 1, Andrew Arthur of Stirling University. 2, Tom Robinson of Aberdeen Performance. 3, Igor Savalov of Edinburgh University. Angus Allison of Stirling University is in 4. Evan Bailey of Ireland in 5. Mark Ford of Glasgow in 6. Don Bissett, Stirling University in 7. Travis Davey, Dundee City Aquatics is in lane 8. And in lane 9 is Aron Jonsson of Iceland.
A good first 15 metres from Mark Ford, really using his underwater as you would have seen. But we've got lane 5, Evan Bailey, who just managed to push through in the rest of the 50. Mark Ford really strong on the short course 200 IM and other sprint events because he's good on his underwaters, but he will have more of a challenge on the long course events as he's got less of those turns to make use of. But he's used a good backstroke leg there to take the lead again in a 33.5, turning in 60.43 and heading into the breaststroke here. Still quite open in the field. We've got lane 5, Evan Bailey looking strong on the breaststroke as well, but also lane 4, we've got Angus Allison moving through as well.
Again, known as a back half swimmer on these medley events, Angus Allison. Last year, part of the European Junior Championship team that competed in Rome. Very strong on that third 50. Breaststroke split 36.1. He's doing 137.77 and looking like he is comfortable to take this third heat.
Certainly not going unchallenged here though. Evan Bailey looking strong on his freestyle, and it's going to be a bit of a battle. And Angus Allison is breathing away from Evan, but it looks like he might have spotted him as he has picked up the pace here. It's going to be on the touch. Just going to Angus Allison there. Good finish. and a good race there. 2:08.67 for Angus Allison.
Just 5/100 separating both boys at the head of that heat. We have another full heat to come in the heat number 4. They've set the standard now for others to meet if they are going to achieve a place in this evening's final. Heat number 4 has Matthew McMillan, the national junior team in 0. Luke Hornsey, national junior team in 1. William Ellington, Stirling University in 2. Also from Stirling University in 3 is Pierce Greening. Charlie Hutchison of Loughborough University is in 4. Matthias Christensen from Denmark is in 5. Birnir Freyr Haftarnarsson of Iceland is in lane number 6. Stefan Kravitz of the national junior team in 7. George Booth Rudd from Maidenhead is in 8. And Peter Allen, Stirling University, is in lane number 9. And I apologise to Birnir if I absolutely crucified his name, but he is here, he is swimming, and we wish him all the best in this men's 200 IM.
Went out strong on that fly, he was second, but going out first was Matthias Christensen. And Charlie Hutchison now coming through on the backstroke, touching first in 59.29. I believe that's our fastest split for the first 100 this morning.
It is, and Charlie Hutchison's a very, very promising young swimmer. He sadly took ill just a few months ago heading into the British Swimming Championships and trials event in Sheffield. Happily, he's made a good recovery from that, and as you can see here, pressing ahead in this third 50 of the 200 IM. Perhaps the unluckiest swimmer in the Scottish senior team, in that he will have missed selection to the Commonwealth Games because of that illness, but he's certainly out to dominate this event this morning, turning in 1:35.89, a good couple of seconds faster than anyone else so far.
Looking good. I presume back from his training camp as well. He's got the tan on show, making the rest of us jealous.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what gave it away, Charlie, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, just back from a couple of weeks in Spain with his teammates at Loughborough University, coached by Dave Hemmings. And Charlie Hutchison takes this one comfortably, 2:05.46. That's a good 3 seconds faster than anyone else. Also faster, Matthias Christensen in lane number 5, 2:07.02. And Pierce Greening taking third in 2:08.6. So they are very much the front runners, along with a couple of swimmers from the previous heat as we head into heat number 5.
Sadly, no lane for Duncan Scott. Perhaps taking a rest on this event, but we hope to see him in some further events throughout the weekend.
This is heat number 5. In lane 0 we have Vegard Hrafn Sigurdsson from Iceland. In 1 we have Michael Flynn from Glasgow. 2 is Harper Whitehead of Stirling University. 3 is Tony Joe Trett Oliver from Stirling University. No Duncan Scott in 4. 5 is George Smith. 6 is Rory Dixon from Stirling University. Lane number 7 is Robert Burgess, City of Glasgow. No one in 8, and Jude Lydiard of Edinburgh University is in lane number 9.
And George Smith taking us out here, 27.0. Closely followed by Rory Dixon, who is now pushing out ahead. Well, he's trying to on the backstroke, but Tony Joe Trett Oliver looks like he's now taken the lead. Tony Joe, now a good friend of mine, swimming still, but also starting to move into the coaching world as well, taking on some of my old young swimmers in Stirling as I've now moved to Glasgow. good to see him doing well. He's out in 59.36 and looking like he's attacking this breaststroke as well.
So in the absence of Duncan Scott, there are plenty of opportunities for both this heat and others who've come before to get themselves into a strong lane for the final. Tony Joe looking very good so far. Rory Dixon is usually strong on a breaststroke and freestyle, and he looks like he's going to head into the final 50 in good order. Tony Joe
turning first, and he looked really good on that, full of energy this morning for that breaststroke leg, and it looks like he should be able to hold on to take this final heat. We've got George Smith chasing him down and Rory Dixon trying to hold on as well, but really nicely executed race from Tony there. Looks to be in good form for the weekend, so I'm excited to see how he goes.
So that's a win in 206.25 for Tony Joe Trett Oliver. George Smith in second, 207.5. He'll be in the final. Rory Dixon on 209.64. We'll have to wait for the count back.
Now, as we were moving between events, we were discussing the Commonwealth team, unnamed, but competing and training, we'll let them do the results.
That was very quickly as flashing through. You'll have seen it on the screen, the count back on the swimmers for the final. We'll recap that for you when we get a chance. Charlie, you were saying about the Commonwealth Games.
No, it's great to see them staying together and travelling to the pool together. That not only just getting to know each other, but that team building aspect and putting things into practice. There'll be huge value ahead of the games. It's great to see that they've got an opportunity to do so. Build up that team rapport, that team spirit.
Yeah, I was fortunate to sit in on a couple of sessions yesterday with the Commonwealth Games squad, and they were talking about team culture, team values, the expectations of the swimmers and staff and vice versa, and it was really a powerful session as all of the swimmers contributed to what they expect of each other and of the team as part of Team Scotland in Birmingham this summer. So yeah, it was great to see them here, and great to see the junior team mixing with them, and hopefully some of that experience rubbing off in a positive way for them. We're on to event number 3, which is the women's 100 metres butterfly. Just missing a swimmer in lane 9 here. So in 1 we have Rebecca Auger of East Kilbride. In 1 we have Madison Gallagher of First. 2 Iona Wilson, East Lothian. 3 Anna de Grossa again from Best. Laura Hutchison of the National Junior team in lane 4. Nadia Djurovic of Iceland in 5. Tony Shaw from Stirling University is in 6. Laura Fizzle from Heart of Midlothian is in lane 7, and Jessica Heaps again from Falthouse is in lane number 8. So doubling up quite a few of these swimmers already this morning, Charlie, forcing themselves to take on a heavy workload.
Yeah, and there's not been much of a gap between the events, because there's only 5 heats of each, and that presents its own challenges, but it's really important to learn how to deal with that, especially as some of our more elite swimmers have been able to display their ability to swim back to back, and we've been seeing more of that in the ISL prior to the new year. It's a great ability to have, to be able to adjust to the short rest times.
So Laura Hodgson from the National Junior team taking that in 107.94. Second was Rebecca Auger, 108.76, and in third place Anna de Grossa, 109.28. There's the full lineup, full times, 1 to 9.
Strong swims, not far off their entries there. We've got Jory Horn up next. She gave a really good effort in the 200 IM. Hopefully backing it up now in the 100 fly.
And this is, okay, it's not the end of the season, but equally it's a sort of mid-season type feel to it, as swimmers are training hard, probably up to and including last night, appearing here, racing hard over the weekend, and then perhaps a session off on Monday morning and back into it Monday evening. So it's certainly a a strong effort by people who are doing more than 1 or 2 events per session, and several of these girls are doing just that. We've got Rosie Liston from City of Glasgow in 0, Nuala Gow of Geary in 1, Jory Horn, Glasgow in lane 2, Jennifer Murray, Edinburgh University is 3, Millie Milne Warrender in 4, Mary Swanson, Aberdeen Performance in 5, Orla McInnes in 6 from Heart of Midlothian, Mary Craig from Stirling in 7, Madison Cool from Bucky in 8, and Coco Coxford from the National Junior team in lane number 9.
Mary Swanson taking it out on the first 50 in 30.2. Now though, moving forward in lane 7, Mary Craig looks like she's challenging. It's going to be a close finish here in the last 25.
Having a good season, Mary Craig. Certainly saw her feature prominently in several finals at Snags. Looking like she's going to come through strongly and take this second heat, head down all the way to the finish. Good skills, 66.16 for Mary Craig. That's inside her entry time, so I'm sure she and her coach will be pleased with that.
I'm sure Kerry will be pleased. It was a well executed race. I like to see the swimmers hold on to their strokes in the last 25. It's really can make all the difference. Keeping the hips up, keeping the head down, keeping it all nice and flat really can make the difference.
Yeah, good swim in second place there from Coco Coxford. Outside Smoker in lane 9 also went under 67, so
excellent.
Good PB for her in her first appearance with the National Junior team and her home pool here at Tollcross. Moving to heat number 3. No swimmer in lane number 7. We have Emmy Hutchison of Glasgow in 0, Maribel Thorpe from Edinburgh University in 1, Caitlin McCaw from Ulster in 2, Shastine Tabor from Denmark is in 3, Lucy Grieve of South Ayrshire is in 4, Maisie Elliott Loughborough in 5, Cecile Hellmark of Denmark is in 6, no one in 7, Hannah Willis, National Junior team in 8, and Elsa Macdonald again from Edinburgh University in lane number 9.
Really good underwater skills on show in lane 6 here. Our 17-year-old Cecile from Denmark, really good on the start there and looking strong, but coming through it looks like lane 5. Maisie Elliott might be moving into the lead now. Also not letting go, Lucy Grieve, she's trying to fight through, as well as Justine in lane 3. It's going to be a close finish for second here, but first goes to Maisie Elliott of Loughborough University. 102.26 there. Very close to her. Oh no, slightly outside of her best. But a good heat swim there, hopefully securing her spot in the final.
I think the girls will be a little bit disappointed with those 62s out in front, if we're allowed to be slightly critical of that. We're heading towards heat number 4. Again, a full heat of 10. Back again in lane 0 is Helen Storrett of East Lothian. Abigail Stemp of Edinburgh University is in 1. Christine Nielsen Norby of Denmark is in 2. Kira Slosson of Edinburgh University is in 3. Tane Bruce, Edinburgh University in 4. Martine Damborg of Denmark is in 5. Amanda Madsen of Denmark is in 6. Lauren Patterson from Edinburgh University in 7. Also from Edinburgh University in 8 is Olivia Butler, and Kiana Kurtzer of the National Junior team is in lane 9.
Good start from Martine in lane 5, but really good underwater skills shown by Tane Bruce there. Off of the turn, moving into the lead.
Very experienced swimmer, Tane Bruce. She's the national short course record holder at 57.14. Swam in the ISL in its second season, and very much the strong favourite in this particular heat, coming through strongly in the middle of hard training. but a good swim, 60.49 for Tane Bruce. Second, Kira Slauson, her teammate at Edinburgh University, in 61.4, and third, Martine Damberg, 61.65 from Denmark.
Moving into the final heat. Ones to watch: Kiana McInnes, Yasmin Perry in lanes 4 and 5. They will have seen that swim by Tane, so they know what they need to do if they want to secure lane 4 for the final.
Yeah, no swimmer in lane 0 in this 5th and final heat. In 1 we have Catherine Bailey of the National Junior Team, 2 Jennifer King, Stirling University, 3 Yvonne Brown, Aberdeen Performance, 4 Kiana McInnes, Stirling University, 5 Yasmin Perry, Aberdeen Performance, 6 Elena Morgan, Stirling University, 7 Louise Thisted of Denmark, 8 Kirsten Laurie of Edinburgh University, and 9 Eve Mayer from South Ayrshire.
Both Kiana and Yasmin looking strong. 27.9 by Yasmin there on the first 50. Certainly neck and neck here, but maybe Kiana coming out of that turn looking slightly the stronger.
Very competitive event in Britain at the moment is women's butterfly. A lot of people swimming under 60 seconds for the 100 and around about the 207, 208 mark for the 200. Kiana McInnes is one of those, and she's going to take this 5th and final heat in a very strong 59.52. She'll be very pleased with that as a heat swim this morning, and stacks up very, very nicely against everyone else. She's the only one under 60 seconds. McInnes takes it in 59.52. Second to Yasmin Perry, who was first at the 50, her time 60.98. And third goes to Yvonne Brown of Aberdeen Performance with a 61.5. That's, I think, the best quality swim of the morning, Charlie. 59.5 for Kiana.
That's brilliant to see in the morning. A good swim. She knew what she needed to do, and she didn't necessarily need to go that fast, but it's good to see her applying herself to that one and getting something out of it in terms of emulating what she wants to do when she's rested and fresh.
62.6 to make the final. So those girls in that first seeded heat who were around about the 62 mark, 2 of them made the final, 2 of them didn't, which I'm sure they'll be more than a little disappointed about. We move to the men's version of that event, the 100 metres butterfly. We also have 5 heats. We have 7 men, or young men, depending on your perspective. All young men to me, Charlie. In 1 we have Callum Sinclair, West Lothian, 2 Owen Carl of Perth City, 3 Fraser Claxton, Heart of Midlothian, 4 Ben Kelly, Warrender, 5 Sidar Gulen of Warrender, 6 Ben Houghton of City of Manchester Aquatics, and lane 7 Cian Hampson, Bahia of Warrender.
Quite close here in 4, 5 and 6. But it looks like Ben Kelly in lane 4 taking the first 50 out in 27.54.
And if we compare that last heat of the women's event with the first heat of the men's, Kiana was out 27.9, so a wee bit slower than Ben. Interesting to see how the second 50 rather, of each of them stacks up against a good swim from Kiana McInnes to take fastest qualifier for the women's. It's a really tight race between the Warrender guys here, between Ben and Sidar. There we go, so Kiana 59.5, out slower than Ben, 60.46, who was out 27.5. So a good second 50 from Kiana. The boys got a wee bit of work to do on their coming home strong.
Looks like it might be a PB there for Ben Kelly though, so he will be pleased at moving it forward. Good swim.
Good positive attack on the 50, you might say. Here we are moving to heat number 2. No one in lane 6 here. 1 is Jack Murphy of Bellshill Sharks. 2 Matthew Brown, Aberdeen Performance. Sorry, 1 Matthew Brown, Aberdeen Performance. 2 Scott Fleming, East Kilbride. 3 Lewis Gray, Inverclyde. 4 Fraser Wilson, Aberdeen Performance. 5 Harper Whitehead, Stirling University. No one in 6. Matthew McMillan again from the National Junior team in 7. Alexander Harris of Stirling in 8. And James Burnett of Warrender in 9.
And Harper Whitehead touches first in 28.0. Slower than the first heat, but we might see a slightly different second half here. And it's still Harper Whitehead, lane 5, holding on. But closely followed by lane 2, Scott Fleming from East Kilbride. Can he push through? And we see Harper Whitehead just hold on, 60.05. Shaking his head a little bit, but that's not a bad heat swim, I think.
Just outside his entry time in second is Scott Fleming. And taking third, Alexander Harris of Stirling. 3 heats to go. First of the series heats coming up. The meet record is 54.51. That is held by Brendan Highland, a visitor from Ireland a couple of years ago. Brendan now training in Australia. So heat 3, Mark Innes of Edinburgh University in 0. Charlie Poole, Stirling University in 1. Peter Allen, Stirling University in 2. Ben Carr, Edinburgh University in 3. Gregor Swinney of Glasgow in 4. Edward Rednick in Stirling University is in 5. Lars Rieskard Jensen from Denmark in 6. Brogan Hyde of Stirling University in 7. Luke Shaw, Edinburgh University in 8. Ryan Ferguson, Edinburgh University in 9.
A good first 50 from Gregor Swinney, our new Scottish record men's record holder on the 50. Using his speed on the first length there, but also Ben Carr is on his shoulders right now. He's chasing him down, challenging him here in the last 10 metres, last 5 metres now. And Gregor just gets the touch in 55.41.
That's a good strong heat swim from him this morning. Just behind that, 55.52 is Ben Carr, and third, Eddie Rednick, 56.04. That sets the standard now for the remaining 2 heats of this men's 100 metres butterfly. We have a full list of 10 swimmers in heat number 4. I'll introduce to you once they get underway. In 0 we have Shaquille Giordani of City of Manchester. Stephen Clegg of Edinburgh University is in 1. Lane 2 is Callum Rose of Warrender. 3 Jamie Robertson, Stirling University. 4 is Kasper Pugard of Denmark. 5 is Salvador Gordo, Stirling University. My friend in lane number 6, Birnir Freyr Haftarnarsson of Iceland, is in lane 6. Stefan Kravitz again beside him in lane 7 from the National Junior team. And then 2 Edinburgh University guys, Benjamin Tune and Niles Lapsley in lanes 8 and 9.
Really good first 50, 25.51 in lane 4 from Kasper. And in lane 3, Jamie Robertson also looking good.
Another 17-year-old, Kasper Pugard, I'm sure will feature in the European Junior Championships for Denmark in the summer. He takes the heat. 55.53, just outside Gregor Swinney's time in the previous heat. Also in the 55s, Jamie Robertson in second and in third place. Also in the middle heat, the middle lane rather, of that heat, Salvador Gordo, 56.7.
Seeing empty lanes again in this final heat.
course, there'll be no Duncan Scott having pulled out earlier on the 200 IM. So heat number 5 we'll introduce to you once they get underway. No swimmers in 4 or 5. Zero is Albert Vangan, Stirling University. Lane 1 is Fannar Snevar Hutchison of Iceland. In 2 is Chris Muir, Stirling University. 3, Cole Hewitt, Swansea University. 6 is Mark Elric of Glasgow. 7, Igor Savalov of Edinburgh University. Henry Baker of Stirling Uni is in 8, and Ross Noble, National Junior Team, is in 9.
Got an empty lane 1 as well, but lane 2, Chris Muir has gone out strong, taking the first 50 and 26.0. But I think our earlier heats were the faster. These boys will have to come back strong. Mark Elric, tough trainer, Mark Elric. Good to see him swimming in lane 6, swimming well. He looks like he might be challenging for 2nd or 3rd here. They're coming down the second 50. But it looks like it's Chris Muir's race. Just in the 56.32 there. Thought he might just dip under 55. Should be a strong enough heat swim to get him into the finals though.
Yeah, I think the first 2 will be in the final, Charlie. I'm not sure about Mark Elric in 3rd with a 57.5. I think he'll probably be outside the top 10.
I think do we have A and Bs?
Yeah,
we might do.
Yeah, the A final is obviously where people want to be. Here we go.
Moving on to
Peter Allen, 57.43 is our 10th qualifier. Gregor Swinney, of course, up top there, 55.41. Mark Elric just outside that, so he just misses the A final.
He'll be disappointed with that.
So here it is, Charlie. We talked about it at the start.
My personal favourites, the 200 backstroke, starting with the women's. Always a good race to watch. Mainly because I'm glad I'm not doing it myself.
Indeed. Said with feeling. My young friend, said with feeling.
Yeah.
Very good. And of course, it'd be fair to say you preferred short course to long course.
I actually preferred long course.
Did you?
Because when I was stronger on the 200, it was before I was any good at underwaters. So I really wasn't that great on the short course 200 back. And as I progressed through to the senior level, I worked on my underwater skills, and that's when I started to focus a little bit more on the shorter events. But no, it's a tough event, the 200 back, but I do have really fond memories because there's a lot of pride you can take if you do get it right, and if it all goes to plan. Certainly had some of my own personal demons with the event. When you're swimming mid-season unrested, it's a scary one. It hurts the legs, but like I said, can be a great event if you get it right.
Well, I'm sure these young ladies will be hoping it doesn't hurt the legs too much as they jump into the water with some technical adjustments to the starting ledge in lane number 0. This is heat 1 of the women's 200 metres backstroke. Zero is Anna Easton, Dundee City Aquatics. 1 is Lucy de Grossa, Best. 2, Laura Frizzle, Heart Midlothian. 3 is Rosie Liston, City of Glasgow. 4 is Talia Blackley, City of Glasgow. 5 is Melissa Menny, East Kilbride. 6 is May Rogers, Warrender. 7 is Chloe McLean, Dundee City Aquatics. 8, Madeline Patterson, City of Glasgow. And 9, Katja Mark Brynjarsdottir of Iceland.
So it's quite tactical, the 200 back. We'll see some go out fast and try to hold on. We may also see some others who pace it a little bit more. For me, I found the most important part was the second and the third 50 for me. Trying to push on those ones and hold on my best on the final 50.
We had Ian Thorpe last year ahead of the Olympic Games talking about pacing on the 200 freestyle and how he thought that swimmers were swimming it wrong. I guess he has the right to say that as a former Olympic champion and world record holder, but his point was the swimmers were being too cagey, they were being too even paced about the 200 freestyle. What do you feel about 200 backstroke? Is that something that should be done with an attack on the first 100 or something that's on a bit more even paced?
It's hard to say. I would say I could agree on the 200 freestyle, but the backstroke is still it's a little bit slower on the backstroke, so you're going to be under that pressure for a little bit longer of time. And a lot of the work is done on the underwaters, and if you burn those legs out too soon at the start of the race, you'll lose a lot of that benefit going into the last couple of turns, where someone else might just capitalize on that. Really, it comes down to what you have practiced, what you've trained for, and what your body is capable of. Everyone's going to have different strengths and weaknesses.
Certainly showing some strength here, pretty much leading from the start. May Rogers, 15-year-old from Warrender, who's in the lead in lane number 6 at the moment. She turned at 1:52.92 after a 38.86 split on that third 50, and looking like she's going to head the field all the way through to the finish here.
And interestingly, she's the only swimmer that turned in a faster time on her third 50 than her second 50, and kind of highlights the importance of that, because it looks like she has moved away from the field on that 50 and then just held on for that final 50 and taken the win in 2:32.
Just pretty much on her entry time, in fact, maybe a couple of tenths underneath, and just dropped off that pace of 38 point a wee bit on the last 50, but nonetheless heading the field, swimming a small PB, and I'm sure quite pleased with her effort in heat 1 of that women's 200 backstroke.
Yeah, I think well swam swim. That last 50 isn't always going to be there. Sometimes it requires a little bit of rest. But it's good to practice that middle section of the race as you would want it to be when you're at your best. Sometimes a little bit of rest can just bring everything together. More often than not, it does.
So we'll have no swimmer in lane 4 in this next heat, otherwise all 9 lanes are filled. This is heat 2. Just introduced them. Libby Doubleday of Glasgow is in 0. Amber Stevenson, South Ayrshire, is in 1. Naomi Wilson, Warrender, in 2. Safrina Mackin, City of Glasgow, in 3. Lucy Atherton, Heart of Midlothian, in 5. Katie Rose, Warrender, in 6. Kirsty Gilmer, Hamilton, in 7. Nuala Gow, again from Gary, is in lane 8. And Emily Reich, Aberdeen Performance, is in lane 9. It's one of the world's strongest and most exciting events on the women's side. At the moment, we've had the world record taken down to an amazing 2:03. We had a 2:05 last week in Australia from Hayley McKeown, who we'll see at the Commonwealth Games and World Championships this summer. And of course, coming up in a later heat, so we've got Katie Shanahan, we've got Cassie Wilde, who themselves are no slouches when it comes to women's 200 backstroke.
Katie Shanahan, a British champion from earlier this year on the women's side. Looking forward to see her swim this morning. But a good start here from Safrina Machin, 34.77. Really good trainer at City of Glasgow, Safrina, working under Jamie McKinley. Good quality in her stroke here, and hopefully can maintain the pace here through the middle 100.
Entry time of 2:29.21, so that's a good strong start for her if she's aiming to get underneath that, and certainly putting some distance between herself and the rest of the field at the moment. No one immediately to her left, but turning nicely at the 100 mark there. 1:12.43 now off that split. Certainly would expect her to be faster than 2:29, Charlie.
Hope so. Hopefully she can hold on. She looks fairly comfortable to me. I've said this to her in the past. She can always look quite comfortable, but she will tell me personally it wasn't that comfortable. But hopefully she's still holding on, and the legs are still going strong. She looks like she's picking up the stroke rate a little bit here, which is good to see. The rest of the field is quite level, but we do have Libby Doubleday over in 0 that looks to be making a slight move on this third 50. And also lane 5, Lucy Atherton looks like she's turning in 3rd, heading into the final 50. But Safrina still in the lead, 38.32 on that third 50. Maybe tiring a little. she'll need to do a good job this morning if she wants to grab herself a place in one of the finals. She is 15, so I think she'd be eligible for one of the junior finals. So she'll be glad to have another chance at this tonight.
Really has dominated this race right from the start. Lovely, smooth, controlled strokes. Safina Merkin, 2:28.91, 38.1 on that last 50. So good job in bringing that home, stronger than she had on the third 50. That's underneath her entry time, and as Charlie has just said, that hopefully puts her in a strong position to get another crack at that this evening as we head into heat number 3, which will be a seeded heat.
Showing some real heavy breathing at the end of that, so I will retract my statement that it looked super comfortable. She really worked hard down that last 50. You could see her working hard and holding on, and really, really good job for a heat swim there. Good job.
It sometimes can be misleading when a swimmer swims so smoothly. Technically, it looks really nice, which belies what the swimmer is actually feeling themselves in terms of hurting and being fatigued from the effort that they put in. So a really nice job from Safina there, well done to her. And we're moving on to the next heat, which has a full list of 10 swimmers. We've got Emma McGavin Hamilton in 0, Kiana Bellotti of Edinburgh University in 1, Florence Tinsley, Stirling University in 2, Rachel Anderson, Loughborough University in 3, Holly Mcgill, the national junior team in 4, Jennifer King of Stirling University in 5, her teammate Ellie Turner is in 6, Ella Stevenson, Bellshill Sharks is in 7, Emma Finlay, East Lothian is in 8, and Zoe Crawford, the first, completes the lineup in lane number 9.
Holly Mcgill not long out of the 100 fly, as well as a few others.
She will definitely be competing for Great Britain at the European Junior Championships in Romania in a few weeks' time, as things currently stand, and it's difficult to know because not everyone has swum at their best, but she's ranked in 3rd place for European Junior Championships going into that competition. So a very accomplished young swimmer, and we'll be hoping for perhaps better news on selections during the summer as well in the coming days. So she'll be the favourite for this one in lane number 4. That's Holly Mcgill of the national junior team, of course swimming out of Hart, the Midlothian club in Edinburgh.
Jennifer King looking the best on that first 15 metres, really utilising almost every metre she was allowed on the underwater, and looking to be attacking this first 50, as well as Ellie Turner. Maybe a slightly more relaxed first 50 from Holly Mcgill, also going out strong in lane 3, Rachel Anderson.
In terms of pacing, Holly Mcgill certainly is someone who comes through strongly on the back half of all of her races, particularly this 200 metres backstroke event. Very good at gauging her effort, spreading her effort over the 200 metres. She's got a wee bit of work to do with Rachel Anderson inside her, taking things strongly out in lane number 3. She was 32.1 at the 50. Jennifer King is in 2nd place heading into the halfway mark. So it's Anderson, 66.2. Then King, then Holly Mcgill, so 68.61. For Mcgill, we'll see what she finishes up with in terms of her final time and her pacing on this second 100.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting actually from Holly. She does look to be picking it up now, but she is being challenged still by Jennifer King, and it looks like Rachel Anderson will be holding on to this lead, at least heading into this last turn. 34.3 from Rachel Anderson, but Holly Mcgill turning in a green split, 34.4. So she's looking good down the second half.
Don't think anyone's going to head Rachel Anderson, though. She's dominated this race from about 25 metres in, and although Holly Mcgill is coming through strongly now, it's going to be Rachel Anderson who take this one comfortably in the first of the seeded heats. She's going to set the standard for everyone else to follow. Good last 25 metres from her. 2:14.72. Holly Mcgill 2:16.8 out in a 68.6. they're pretty much bang on even pace. And Jennifer King takes third in 2:19.91.
So that was our first of the seeded heats. So the bar has been set for the following 2 heats. They now know what the minimum is they need to be doing if they want a shot at that A final.
So our next heat, the penultimate one of this event, is heat number 4 of the women's turner backstroke. In 0 we have Coco Croxford of the National Junior team. 1 is Ailey Armstrong of East Lothian. 2 Natasha Whittle of Loughborough University. 3 will be Anna Green, the National Junior team. Cassie Wilde of Stirling University goes in 4. Yana Saka from Edinburgh University is in 5. Olivia Butler, also from Edinburgh University, is in 6. Susie McNair again in lane number 7. From first, Kira Sterica, South Ayrshire, is in 8. And Maria High from Aberdeen Performance is in 9. This is heat 4. The swimmers into the water. European silver medalist from last year, Cassie Wilde, the best time of 2:07.74, which of course is her entry time. So I'm at the Olympic Games for Great Britain in Tokyo, and after that European silver medal is very much one of the premier backstrokers on this particular event in Scotland, Great Britain and across the world.
Yeah, it was great to see Cassie make it to the Olympic Games last year and gain some valuable experience at that kind of level. And I'm sure it's not the last we'll see. She's doing plenty of learning, and I'm sure we've got some exciting stuff in store from Cassie Wilde. She's looking pretty comfortable on this 200. Another swimmer that's got a lovely relaxed stroke, but I'm sure is working extremely hard. Great distance per stroke, nice early catch, really steady head position. Good to see.
So she takes the touch, 65.66, 34.6 for that 50. The year after the Olympic Games is often considered a down year or an off year, and of course this time with the pandemic we were a year late in having the Olympics, so we're a year early in, if you like, the Paris Olympic cycle coming along. So it's an interesting year with everything that is going on. Cassie should be swimming for Scotland, hopefully confirmed in the next few days, and then we'll see what happens with the rest of her summer, because there's no team for the European Championship selected. Next year has a World Championships, and then we're into Paris and the Olympic Games. So she's turning in first place there with a 140.94, which is a comfortable enough swim for her this morning. But her chances, her prospects, do you think, Charlie, over the next cycle?
Yeah, I think she can capitalise on the Commonwealth Games, and then maybe throw herself in the ring for some further selections towards the end of the season. She'll pick up some really good experience, and it's all going to really help towards moving into Paris if she can, fingers crossed, make it there. She'll be going into it with a wealth more experience. She's got the first Olympic Games under her belt, and she'll be in a much stronger position. She's finishing strongly there in 2:16.6. It's a strong enough heat swim. We've got one more heat to go.
3 girls, or 3 women rather, underneath the 220 there. Yana Saka 218 and Anna Green just outside that 220.51. Third is Olivia Butler 219.59. So standard, as Charlie said, has been set. Looking for this final heat to see who's going to be in those lanes again for the A final this evening. We have Jessica Heaps of Falthouse in 0. Suna Arnfinnsdottir of Iceland in 1. Heidi Wren, National Junior team, who's not with us, in 2. Apologies. Ella Shields of Edinburgh University is in 3. Katie Shanahan, back again from Glasgow, is in 4. Honey Osrin, Loughborough University in 5. Christine Nielsen Norby, Denmark in 6. Hannah Willis, National Junior Team is 7. Kerry Gillespie of Aberdeen Performances in 8. And Catherine Renfrew of Perth City is in lane 9. This is the final heat, heat 5 of the women's 200 metres backstroke. As well as being a successful junior swimmer, Katie Shanahan, the local favourite, also competed as a senior last year at the European Championships. She was in that final that Cassie Wilde won her silver medal in. Katie's best time of 2:09 and will very much put her in the frame for senior as well as junior honours, and she looks like she'll be the favourite, along with the former European junior champion Honey Orsrin from Loughborough University, who's in lane 5.
Yeah, it's an important year really for Katie now. She's transitioning into the senior levels, and she'll be moving on to university next year as well. So she is heading out of her junior stages, and she really has done well so far with the transition onto the senior level, and it's been great to see so far. I've got full confidence in how she's going to go.
Swam in the ISL this past season for the London Rower. I had a fantastic time competing with and sharing experiences with many of our most established stars across the world of swimming. I think thrived on that environment and is looking for much more than that as her career unfolds.
Yeah, really lucky. I think she wasn't initially planned to be on the London Raw team, but she got the call up, and to be able to spend that time with such established individuals from a wealth of nations all over, it'd be really good for Katie. Help her build that confidence moving on to the world stage, if you could call it that.
Yeah, rubbing shoulders with
absolutely.
Olympic champions, Olympic medalists from all across the globe.
Mm-hmm.
She's turning in third place here in this 200 backstroke. Split of 34.76 takes her at the 150 mark in 141.85, but in the lead, but a second ahead of that is Honey Orsrin from Loughborough University. As I said at the start, she's a former European junior champion in her own right, swam 2:10 as a 17-year-old. Mm-hmm. So 2:10 as a 17-year-old, and has really struggled to get close to that. Again, she's now made that transition to university at Loughborough, and she's been pressed hard by Katie Shanahan just inside her. Oh, it is Orsrin who takes it. 2:15.88 from Shanahan, 2:16.02. Third place not far behind, 2:16.8. So we'll see some of those women from the earlier heats feature. Cassie Wilde for sure, Holly Mcgill for sure. We'll see the rundown in the second and work out who's in the top 10.
Should be much different race this evening, I imagine. Lots being saved there. It can be a taxing event, so people do choose to rest the legs a little bit in the heats where they can. But we hope they've done enough to book their place in the final, which we will see on our scoreboard soon. And then they'll be looking to move it on in the final tonight and swim it much more aggressively.
So this is the lineup, top 10 from Rachel Anderson, 2:14.72, Jennifer King, who just nipped inside the 2:20, 2:19.91. That leaves Anna Green in 11th place, down to Suna Arfinsdottir of Iceland in 20th. We've got the men's version now, men's 200 metres backstroke. We also have 5 heats, first of which has 7 swimmers in it. All 7 line up as per the start sheet. So in lane 1 we have Kieran Hayes of Aberdeen ASC, that is, because in lane 2 Jake Mckenzie swims for Aberdeen Performance. Oscar Chirnside of Geary, also from the North District, is in lane 3. Dylan McCombie from South Aberdeenshire. It's 4 northern chaps in this heat. Dylan goes in 4. Cole Morrison 5 from Stirling Swim, and Lewis Gibson, Aberdeen ASC in 6, with Charlie McLaren of SAS in lane number 7. So very much dominated by the north of Scotland, by the North District here. Ranging from 14 years of age to 17 years of age. And we'll see how both they pace it and attack this swim.
Good start from Charlie McLaren on this first 50, and also Cole Morrison, Sterling Swim. Good to see Cole heading out well, one of my previous swimmers at Sterling Swim. But as we know, this first 50 isn't the best indicator. We'll see how the rest of the field hold on in the rest of the 200 here, the middle 100. Vitally crucial, but heading out first, Charlie McLaren, 33.46. And we'll see how the race unfolds from here. Looks like lane 4, Dylan might be pushing through, Dylan McCombie. But it's a very level playing field right now.
The entry times from 2:27 to 2:29 here, so we'd expect a tight race. Certainly off that first 50, we'd expect them to be much faster than those entry times, but let's see what the splits are like at the 100. Beginning just to push himself through is Dylan McCombie, 1:12.94, and Oscar Chirnside with a good second 50 in 1:13.05. Taking second, just 200 ahead of that, is Charlie McLaren at 1:13.03.
Oscar in lane 3 looks like he wants to win this 50 here. He's really going for it with Dylan on his right hand side. They're really working for it. Looking slightly more relaxed over in lane 7. It's Charlie. Wonder if Charlie has got something in the bag for the last 50 here. We'll see. Turning first, looks like Dylan. Oh, Oscar just gets it there on the turn. And Oscar has come up. He's really got the stroke rate going, and he's got the legs going. It's just going to be a battle of grit down this last length, but it looks like Oscar in lane 3 is going to take it home.
As you called it, Charlie, it certainly looks like he wants to win it. A bit of work to be done on the technique there, but certainly no complaints about the aggression, about the intent, about the effort that's going into this last 50. In fact, the last second 100 by Oscar. He's going to take this quite comfortably. I'm sure it's going to be a big PB. 2:27.51 for Oscar Chirnside. That's a good second plus for Oscar taking that first heat. He was the youngest swimmer in the heat as well, so I'm sure he and his coach Richard McLaughlin will be very pleased.
Good job from the 14-year-old there. I'm sure he'll take a lot of confidence from how well he, attacked that last 50. He looked like he had plenty of energy left there, and with a bit of refinement, I'm sure he's got a lot there that he can, a lot more he can move forward there. Good swim.
So heat number 2 has a full complement of 10. Sam Curry, Perth City, is in 0. Jack Doherty Simpson, Scotia, in 1. Andrew Smitten, South Aberdeenshire, will be in 2. Tom Armitage of Thurso in 3. Blair McKean, Bellshill Sharks in 4. Lex Garrett, South Ayrshire, in 5. Robbie Carlisle, Bellshill Sharks in 6. Mano Drysdale, Warrender in 7. Dan Hall, Aberdeen Performance in 8. And Fraser Tetlow of Geary is in 9. Times here ranging from 2:21 in the middle lane to 2:27 on the outside. So a fair old spread of entry times, but that's no guarantee of what's actually going to happen in the race itself. They're certainly setting off pretty much in a line down that first 50.
Yeah, we're starting to see maybe a little bit less of it, but this year's been interesting with, people have had that big break from racing, and entry times are not always the best indicator of where the swimmers are at. And throughout the season, we've just seen some, you get some real big surprises that can come out just from, someone's not tried an event for a long time. They can make some big jumps. It's been great to see people getting back in the pool. Plenty of racing opportunities this year, and hopefully next season there's even more. It's brilliant. It's important not to take it for granted.
Well, lane number 1 looks like Jack Doherty Simpson from Scotia, just along the road, dominating this heat. In second place to him will be Tom Armitage from up in Thurso, 68.96 for him.
looking good over in the lane 1, looking strong. Lane 3, he is not far back, might need to start picking up the pace now. 75 meters left in the race. The time to start going is now. It's important not to save too much for that last 50. You don't want to have stuff left in the tank.
And if some of these lads have some other races this morning, this is when it starts to tell on them, the third 50 of a 200 metre backstroke event. Still right out in front, 146 at the turn for both Jack and Tom. Looks like they're going to scrap it out for the first and second place in this heat. The other's quite far back. Unless someone makes a run at this last 50, the race is going to be decided between lanes 1 and 3.
Warren, the swimmer in lane 7, does look strong. He had one of the only swimmers to have a faster third 50 than his second 50, and he's working hard here. He might be able to push through, but it is lane 3 Tom Armitage that's going to take this heat in a 2:22.10.
Just outside his entry time, but he certainly swam it very well. A very controlled race. Did a nice job. 35 point on that last 50. Suggests, Charlie, that maybe he's capable of a bit better.
Perhaps. There'll be learning going on, and I'm sure he could adjust next time he swims that. And that is really the value of racing. It's, even if you're not expecting to race your best times, if you're learning something, then you've got that value from that swim.
The swimming aficionados who are watching will be aware of the term Sammy Saver, which for the uninitiated means that you've perhaps saved too much in your last 50 or your last rep in training. Is way faster than everything else. 35.1 on that last 50 for me suggests that there's a better swim in there if that effort can be spread just a little bit more evenly over the 50s, but I'm sure Tom and his coach will be working on that up in the far north of Thurso in the weeks to come. This next heat is heat number 3. With Greer van der Meulen of Stirling swimming 0, Travis Davy, Dundee City Athletics in 1, Jack Munsey, Stirling University in 2, Stephen Milne, Stirling University in 3, Charlie Brown from Loughborough University in 4, Zach Speakman, Stirling University in 5, Pierce Greening, Stirling University in 6, Finlay Saunders, Edinburgh University in 7, Kyle Mitchell from Geary in 8, Oliver Tykeson from Stirling University in 9. So this is the Stirling University Club Championships for 200 backstroke, Charlie.
Perhaps, but looks like Charlie Brown is not going to let that quite happen. He's going to take control of the race nice and early here with his 28.43. It's good to see Stephen Milne in the race. Typically a freestyler, but I remember from my days of racing, whenever you'd see Stephen Milne in the lane next to you, you'd be a little bit afraid because he's a tough swimmer, and you really can push forward on these backstroke events as well. So we'll be interested to see how he goes on this. But Charlie Brown turning first at the 100 metres in 58.73. He's entered on 1:59.00, so it'd be good to see what he can do this morning. He looks like he's not holding anything back, which is good practice for the final, which he looks like he's going to get through to fairly comfortably. Zach Speakman in lane 5, looking like he's second at the moment. Stephen Milne also working hard.
Characteristic, I think, of all the Loughborough University swimmers this morning. They've been quite positive in their attack and their intent in each of these heats. Perhaps not at full capacity, but certainly swimming very aggressively, very positively, and a great example of that from Charlie Brown in lane 4. To be fair to Charlie, he does always swim with aggression, with positivity. He's not someone who'll rest on his laurels. He can make this final no problem at all, but he's not doing that in a passive way. He's coming into the last 5 metres here. A very, very good, very positive heat swim. 2:00.9. Very, very good heat swim. Second is Stephen Milne, 2:06.09. Third is Zach Speakman, 2:07.33. So if Kiana McInnes was the best female swim in the morning with her 59.5, I think that one definitely goes down as the best male swim so far.
So far, for sure, I'd say I really like that swim. 30.88 down the last 50 there. He was 31 mid, I think, on the third 50, so that would be an adjustment I'd maybe suggest towards the final, but very, very good to see, because he's learnt something there. He's practiced his race plan, and he's really worked hard, and he'll get, you know, almost a training response as well from that. And this is not a rested meet, so that's really valuable stuff to see on display. We've got Craig McNally coming up in lane 4 in the final heat.
In fact, in this heat number 4, we have
penultimate heat.
Craig, yeah, so we've got a full complement again. We have Ethan Stewart Hamilton in 0, Callum Peebles, the National Junior team in 1, Robert Burgess of Glasgow is in 2, Jamie Ferguson, Aberdeen Performance in 3, the aforementioned Craig McNally, Stirling University in 4, Matthew Ward, National Junior team in 5, also National Junior team in 6 is Cameron Travis, as is Ross Noble in 7. In 8 is Owen Williamson from East Lothian, and 9 Fraser Claxton at the Midlothian. So we have the old and the new here in this heat, Charlie. Several National Junior team backstrokers, and heading them in the middle of the field is Craig McNally, the old man at 30.
I know, same age group as me, and glad it's him, not me, at this stage. He's 30 years old, still doing the 200 back. It's good to see from Craig, working hard. And Craig's, I'm sure many people are aware, he's had his unique approach to the 200 back in the past, and I'm sure he's been working on it. But he used to be, for me, he would be the swimmer that would be blindingly fast on the last 50, chasing me down many times, just going straight past me. So it's good to see he's working hard here on the second 50. He was out in 29.6, and he looks to be pushing through strongly, heading towards the halfway mark. And then on his shoulder is Matthew Ward, the 29.93 from Craig McNally there. That's a good second 50. He's got a good pace going right now, and he wants to maintain it for the third 50. And he looks to be doing so. He looks to be looking strong this morning. It's nice to see.
Yeah, maybe inspired by the swim of Charlie Brown in the previous heat. Certainly not hanging back here, Craig McNally. Yep. Powerful, strong swim. Is inside him Matthew Ward from Mount Kelly College, who's part of the National Junior team participating this week. So Matthew and his colleagues at Mount Kelly on a visit just the other week in that superb facility in Tavistock in Devon. McNally though, 130.49, still in the 30 points for that 50 metre split, heading the field quite comfortably with 25 metres to go. I think he's doing the opposite to what you said he normally does, yeah, Charlie, which is easing back now.
Maybe hurting a bit, we don't know, but it's good to see him swimming it differently now, because like we said earlier with some of the younger swimmers, if you've got a blindingly fast last 50, it does suggest there's more there earlier on in the race. And it's been really important for Craig to be exploring different ways to swim the race in the past couple of years, and he's working at the University of Stirling now. It's been good to see him still staying in the water. He's had some shoulder injuries, but still going strong. He's done a 2:03.86 there, going to book himself into the final.
Yeah,
well, good to see tonight.
One heat to go, and Matthew Ward was second in 2:06.94. Third was Jamie Ferguson from Aberdeen Performance, 2:08.97. They'll be looking to establish themselves into the final with one heat to go. Of course, they have the advantage of having seen everyone else swim and perhaps gauge their effort accordingly.
Be good to see what Elliot Clogg can go this morning. He's our fastest seed on 1:57.77.
Looks like we're missing Nicholas Costella in lane number 3, otherwise we have 9 swimmers lining up. In 0 we have Luke Porteous, East Lothian. In lane 1 we have Berger Fafnir Bjarnason from Iceland. 2 Michael Flynn of Glasgow. 4 Elliot Clogg of Loughborough. 5 is Cameron Brooker of Bath National Centre. Mads Muller of Denmark is in 6. Lucas Brown from the National Junior team in 7. Angus Allison, Stirling University in 8. And Keane Smith, Airdrie in lane number 9.
We had some really powerful underwater from Cameron Brooker. It looked slightly dangerous on the 15-metre line, but we will see at the end of the race. But good first 50 from those boys, 27.8 and 27.9 for their first 50s. Is a good start if they want to be, if Elliot wants to be towards his entry time of 1:57. I'm sure Cameron Brooker will be wanting to be as close to that 2-minute mark as possible.
Setting the standard, of course, in British backstroke, particularly in this event, is Luke Greenbank, Olympic bronze medalist from last year. He won the Mare Nostrum meet yesterday in Barcelona and a pretty quick 1:56 in season time. 58.6 is the fastest 100 split there for Elliot Clogg. Cameron Brooker on his heels, 59.36. They're well ahead of everyone else in this particular race. They're, I'm sure, comfortably heading towards the final, and middle lanes perhaps. Everyone else scrapping for minor places in the A or the B finals.
Really is their race out in the middle. I do need to give a shout out to lane 2. Michael Flynn, one of the hardest workers I know, and he really is putting that on show here on the 200 back. Not his event, but he's working hard, but it does look like Elliot Clogg's going to be taking it home. Good third 50 from Cameron Brooker, 31.45 there, faster than his second 50. But Elliot looking good, maintaining his stroke rate down the last 15 meters. Looks like he's just going to be maybe slightly outside the 2 minutes, but still a very, very strong heat swim at 2 minutes 82.
Just getting news of a swim off at the end of this session for the women's 100 fly. We'll bring you the details of that shortly. So Elliot Clogg winning in 2:00.82, Brooker second, 2:02.63. A long way back, Angus Allison, the medley swimmer, 2:12.2. I don't think he'll feature in the final, but certainly the first two will. Just waiting on the confirmation of the count back. We're heading into some faster stuff now with some 50s. So that's the final times for that last heat number 5 of the men's 200 metres backstroke. And here's your finals lineup. So Muncie, number 10 at 2:10.68. Through to our fastest qualifier, Elliot Clogg, 2:00.82. From Allison to Peebles, 2:12 to 2:18. The next 10 swimmers, and we're looking down to the start end at the other end of the pool for the women's 50 metres freestyle. I'll try and bring them to you, but a splash and dash means that if I'm not quick in the read, they're going to be finished before I even tell you who they all are. So let's try and get through this as efficiently and speedily as we can. We've got 6 heats of this. First heat, Zoe Crawford in 0, Laura Hodgson in 2, Phoebe Arbuckle, Laura Hodgson in 1, Phoebe Arbuckle in 2, Ellie Sutherland in 3, Ashley Drake in 4, Mary Swanson in 5, Heidi Wren in 6, Kerry Gillespie 7, Eve Muir in 8. I think we are still missing Heidi Wren, who's not been with us all morning, so I hope Heidi's okay.
Hope so. I did see her earlier. I hope she's okay, but it does look like she's had to withdraw from this morning's heats. Very talented young swimmer though, swimming great so far this season. Good to see her on the national junior team.
Meet record for this is from 2018. Katie Stark, now a medical student at the University of Aberdeen, and that record is 25.74, so pretty swift. See what people can do towards the latter heats. Away they go then, minus Heidi, everyone else lining up. Mary Swanson's a pretty handy sprint freestyler, as is Ashley Drake, who's inside her.
Yeah, always interested in the 53. People always say it's easy because it's only one length, but there's really no room for mistakes if you want to be the fastest. It's tough to get perfect. Lane 4, Ashley Drake, the 15-year-old, coming out on top there. 27.81. Should be pleased with that. Yeah, she's beginning to break through this season. Good for her. That's inside her entry time and on top of other swims that she's had this morning. She and her coach will be well pleased. We're heading towards heat 2 of this women's 50 metres freestyle. Katie Rose Warrender in 0, Abigail Stemp, Edinburgh University in 1, Maisie Elliott, Loughborough in 2, 3 is Amy Watson, 4 is Kiana Kurtze, 5 Grace Noonan, 6 Nadia Jurovic, 7 is Carla Brawley, 8 is Mia McLeod, and 9 Natasha Simpson, who, as I recall, had a good 200 IM the last 50 split on freestyle. Yeah, she came through strong in that last 50. It's very close up here at the front. Really can't pick anyone out. Maybe lane 1, the Edinburgh swimmer, Abigail Stemp. Yeah, it looks like she's going to take this heat number 2, 27.80. The second going to Kiana Kurtzer, 28.13 there.
That was heat 2. In heat number 3 we have Kirsten Laurie, Edinburgh Union 0, Layla Weatherspoon, Hart Midlothian in 1, Millie Milne of Warrender in 2, Emma Skobaker, Kintilloch in 3, Anna Green, National Junior Team in 4, Fenya Romansky is in 5 from Denmark, Sophie Hull of Warrender is in 6, Abby Westanley, Manchester in 7, Emma Hutchison, Glasgow in lane 8, and Rebecca Reid of Aberdeen in 9.
Looks like we're missing Anna Green, maybe deciding to skip this one. She has had some other races this morning, but looking good in lane 1 again.
Lucky lane 1.
Yeah, we've got our Hearts of Midlothian 14-year-old Layla Weatherspoon going well, but also in lane 5 is challenging. Fenya Romansky from Denmark takes the win, 27.47. Layla 27.84 there, a good swim. Should be pleased with that.
We are heading to heat number 4. Ava Simpson, Edinburgh Union 0, and Thastrup Hansen of Denmark in 1. Lucy Grieve is in lane number 2 from South Ayrshire. Martine Damberg, Denmark in 3. Johanna Elin Gudmundsdottir from Iceland is in 4. Sile Kirketap from Denmark is in 5. Elena Morgan, Stirling Uni in 6. Grace Davidson Ireland in 7. Georgia Dennis from Loughborough is in 8. And Gudborg Bia Gudmundsdottir in lane 9 from Iceland.
Starting to look really powerful now in lane 4. Icelandic swimmer Johanna, really head and shoulders ahead of the field there, 26.22.
It's a good swim just outside her entry time of 26.01. That'll begin to set the standard for the remaining 2 heats, first of which is heat number 5. Lots of repeat swims as we'll go through the lineups for these swimmers. Heat 5 has Ailey Robertson, South Ayrshire in 0. Cecile Helmark of Denmark is in 1. Sophie Herch of Denmark 2. Drew Mckenzie, National Junior Team in 3. Evie Davis, Bromley in 4. Frida Knudsen from Denmark in 5. And Steingerder Hauksdottir is in 6 from Iceland. Vicky Russell, Stirling Uni in 7. Caitlin McCaw Ulster is in 8. And Anna de Grossa from Best is in 9. Fellow national senior team athlete Evie Davis joining Cassie Wilde, Katie Shanahan, Lucy Hope, who we're about to see, and many others. Evie swam in the European Junior and Senior Championships last year, and she's very much the leader in this. Head down for the finish, and that's a good swim. 25.88, which is just outside that meet record of 25.74. So nice job by Evie in the heats. That's very much on a par with what she's been going this season already, so well done to her. Setting a pretty brisk pace, because second there was 26.6, so some people from that previous heat may feature in the final. We will see. Here comes heat 6. No one in 0. Emily Grant, Aberdeen Performance in 1. Kirsten Helga Hakonars Dottir in 2 from Iceland. Yasmin Perry, Aberdeen Performance in 3. Lucy Hope, Stirling Uni in 4. Katie Goodburn, Edinburgh Uni in 5. Yasmin Hammerlane of Millfield in 6. Kira Sterica, South Ayrshire 7. Anna Morgan, Edinburgh Uni in 8. And Tatiana Tostevin in Loughborough in 9.
No, Lucy Hope in lane 4. Recently moved well, early at the start of the season to Stirling University. We've got her Edinburgh ex-teammates chasing down in lane 5 as well. Katie Goodburn. But Lucy takes that heat 26.11.
So that leaves Evie Davis as the clear fastest qualifier for that event.
Just like that, it's over.
It is over.
5 heats of the 50 goes by like nothing.
Splash and dash right enough, Charlie. Interesting, no stopwatch on these races, but certainly Lucy Hope looked like she picked up a stroke rate on that second 25, and that'll be a good race with her Scottish and British teammate Evie Davis in the final later on this evening. This is now the men's 50 metres freestyle. We have 6 heats again of this. In the first heat we have Lewis McKean of Stirling Uni in 0, Corey Phillip Dundee City Aquatics is in 1, Callum Sinclair West Lothian in 2. We haven't had Conrad Slessor thus far this morning. It doesn't look like we have him again, so no one in 3. Ben King Mulgine Bearsden is in 4, Logan van der Meulen Stirling Sim in 5, Callum Rosewander in 6, Cameron Gill first in 7, and Lewis Moyer of East Kilbride is in lane 8.
Looking forward to seeing Logan van der Meulen get going here. He's been having a good season. One of my old swimmers was at one of his first competitions. It's good to see him now at an international level meet.
So the guys will be looking to pick up where the women left off, somewhere in the 25 points.
Good start from Callum Rose, Warrender. Looks like he might be out ahead at the moment at this point in the 50. Hard to see too much on the live stream, but it is Callum Rose at the moment, but he's closely chased by the outside lane. Lewis McKean just in the last 5 meters there, getting ahead, 25.86. Good finish. Callum Rose taking second, 1/100th after Lewis, 25.87.
Small margins, Charlie, small margins.
The smallest.
Logan will be keenly looking at this next heat as his older brother Greer van der Meulen goes in heat 2. So we have Cedar Gillen of Warrender in 0, Ben Ferguson Stirling Uni in 1, Greer van der Meulen Stirling Swim in 2, Finlay Saunders Edinburgh Uni 3, Ryan Ferguson Edinburgh Uni 4, Jack Murphy Bellsill Sharks in 5, Ben Houghton City of Manchester Aquatics in 6, Jake Holmes City of Glasgow in 7, Liam McLaughlin Edinburgh Uni in 8, and Sam Moore South Ayrshire in 9. Good start there from City of Manchester Ben Houghton, using the full 15 metres to best effect.
And we got the lane 8 swimmer from Edinburgh, Liam McLaughlin, pushing out ahead now, taking the win in 24.78.
He'll be well pleased with that. I think it'd be fair to say he's better known as a distance freestyler, Liam, so well done to him. Nice PB.
Good fun event for him. He looks happy, smiling up. Good job.
Yeah, bringing the speed, Liam, well done. And now we have heat number 3. I think the referee's determined to make life difficult for me by making it impossible to read everybody out. We'll just give you these swimmers as the heat unfolds. Heat 3. With no one in 8. Louis Lawler going well over the far side, maybe trying to make amends for his disqualification in the Trinidad IM earlier on.
Much prefers himself as a bit of a sprinter these days, but still is encouraged to stick in with the longer event. He really is putting his foot down there. He wants to be doing that 50, 24.72 from Louis. Big smiles over there on the other side of the pool.
Yeah, it's a different response to that swim from the one earlier on. That's faster than his entry time and likely to be in and around his PB, so well done to Louis. We have Heat 4 coming up now. William Strachan from Glasgow Uni in 0. Ethan Horn, City of Glasgow in 1. Swally Talib, Stirling Uni in 2. His teammate Chris Muirs in 3. Rory McKinnon, National Junior Team 4. Evan Bailey Ireland in 5. Shaquille Jordani from Manchester in 6. Greg Fairbairn, Stirling Uni in 7. Lucas Brown, National Junior Team in 8. And Lars Riesgaard Jensen is in 9 from Denmark.
Really close, but it looks like it's lane 4 at the moment. Rory McKinnon, but lane 3 looks like he might be pushing through. Chris Muir, oh, Rory's just holding on there. Oh, very close finish. 24.13 for Rory McKinnon. Evan Bailey 24.17, and third going to Chris Muir 24.20. There's only 7/100 splitting all three of those boys.
And in such a tight event, it's crucial you get your hand onto the wall. Those hundreds really do make a difference, particularly when it comes to making or not making a final, getting a middle lane or getting an outside lane. So well done to Rory for getting his hand on the wall. Whatever the time was, being first in that heat will perhaps make a difference. So this is heat 5. We've done Robertson, Poole, Eastberg, Walton, Pugard, Ford, Burrell, Kingelis and Magnussen.
So lane 4, Martin Walton. He's qualified, I believe, for the Commonwealth Games for the Scottish team.
Did the consideration
on
time?
The consideration. Yep. So he'll be hoping they'll be confirmed soon. But lane 1, Jamie Robertson is looking good over there.
It's having a good morning so far.
Yeah.
Very good morning.
Taking the win 23.58, followed by Martin 23.87 and Oscar Iceberg in 24.08. Isberg.
Very good. Yeah, all smiles over there from Jamie. We have one heat to go in this men's 53. In 0 is Ben Kelly Warrender. 1 is Conor Massey Aberdeen Performance. 2 Murray Pritchard Perth City. 3 Gregor Swinney City of Glasgow. 4 Nicholas Costello Denmark. 5 Henry Baker Stirling Uni. 6 Miles Lapsley Edinburgh Uni. 7 Stephen Kravitz National Junior Team. 8 Alex Thompson Warrender and 9 Martin McInnes City of Glasgow.
So we head into the last heat. Been plenty of swims under 24 now, and I'm sure there'll be a couple more vying for that final. But we got Gregor Swinney in lane 3 is looking good, as well as lane 4 Nicholas Costella. But it's just Gregor Swinney 23.88 and Nicholas following in 24.22. So second place was behind the first 3 in our heat 4. So those boys who are fighting very closely for those placings may just have got in. We will find out soon on our scoreboard, on the results summary. And there we go, there's our top 10. Nicholas Costella, our 10th person into the A final there.
Yeah, very tight, just 0.1 away from making the final. Murray Pritchard from Perth City there. He's 11th in 24.33. And we're still at 24th right through until 25th place on the overall rankings. So we have 2 events to go. The women's 50 breast and men's 50 breast. The first heat of the women's has Emily McCusker of Glasgow in 1. Ailey McNair, Morgan Bearsden in 2. Casey Wiper, City of Glasgow in 3. Madeline Patterson, City of Glasgow in 4. Avi Kirkham first in 5. Madison Gallagher also first in 6. Lucia Bivas Segorado from East Lothian is in 7. And Millie Donachie from East Kilbride is in lane number 8. Should have maybe issued a health warning at the start, Charlie, if I mispronounce anyone's name. It's not intentional.
You're doing well.
Well, yes, I notice I'm getting all the difficult ones to actually name. You just get to commentate on the race, Charlie, but nobody's listening, so they won't They won't have caught that exchange between us.
Right.
Here we go then, 50 breaststroke for women.
Yeah, plenty of Glasgow swimmers here. It's good to see. Emily McCusker is looking good in lane 1 over there, but also across in lane 6. We have Madison Gallagher from first, a 15-year-old looking good. It might be Amelie, but lane 2 is now challenging. Cassie, no, that's not Cassie. Ailey McNair challenging Amelie. It's going to be in the last touch. Who's going to time their finish? It's just Ailey, 37.35 and 37.53 for Amelie. Close finish, shows the importance of getting your finish right, but a good heat swim from both girls.
Yeah, we don't have an awful lot of time on 50s to talk technique, but certainly nothing wrong with the effort and application or the stroke rate out in front of that heat. We're now heading towards heat number 2, so we have Kendall, Stahl, McGeorge, Simpson, Payne, Kravitz, Morrison, Brawley, Stevenson and Kirkwood. That's your lineup for heat 2, the women's 50 breaststroke.
I think out of the 450 events, breaststroke might be the most challenging to get right in that 50-meter allowance you've got. Really important to get your stroke rate high enough, but also not to get too snatchy. You've still got to get the power out of the legs and get into your streamline position at the end of every stroke. And finding that rhythm can be tricky.
Too snatchy. What page of the book is that on, Charlie?
I guess that's a coaching term I've adopted, speaking to my younger swimmers. But a good swim there from Ella McGeorge, 36.19.
Yeah, very good. Nicely inside her entry time by about half a second. Just turning back the clock a wee bit to during the pandemic, one of the fantastic things that happened was the coming together of coaches online, sharing of technical information, sharing of coaching tips. So it really was a bringing together of the coaching community, and hopefully we'll see the results of that this season and beyond. Here we go then with heat number 3. We have Cole, Wilson, Lumsden, McNaughton, Armstrong, Bullock, Thompson, Scobie, Birkersdottir and Watt.
Quite a level playing field at the moment, halfway down. Looking good in lane 3, the Warrender swimmer, Sarah McNaughton, but also over in lane 8. Looking good, Freya from Iceland. Really could be anyone's race at this point between the three of them. Oh, also lane 6 is close, but it goes to 0. Rebecca Cole taking the win of the heat there in 35.79. Closely followed by Sarah McNaughton in 35.97.
Good to see the people out front setting personal or season's best times, certainly faster than their entry times, and just making the point for you, Charlie, about the progress that people are making swim on swim this season as they get back into not just training but into racing. This is heat 4, lots of familiar faces in here. So we have Rogers, Stoves, Hull, Russell, Tabor, Skovkrag, Robertson, Marley, Nimmo and Smith. That's your lineup for heat 4 of the women's 50 breaststroke.
Oh, Five's had a great start and she's looking strong. Ida Skovkrag. Powerful stroke there. Getting the shoulders really high and lunging forward. Lane 4 maybe a slightly different stroke. Shastine, but equally as fast. They are evenly matched at the moment heading into the last 5. And it is lane 4, 32.6 and 32.67 for the top 2 there.
That's a good swim. I'll be looking out for those two in a few weeks' time in Romania. Tuning up nicely here at the Glasgow International Swim Meet, where we just have 2 more heats to go of the morning session for women. This is heat number 5 of the women's 50 breaststroke. Kjelstrup, McGee, Hardy, Watson, Goodburn, Morgan, Davidson, Stewart Crichton and Andries Dottir.
So Katie Goodburn going in 4, the sister of Archie, I believe. Looking good, looking strong in her stroke there. Good underwater phase up into the first few strokes, and she's taking the lead, heading past the 25-metre marker. Just following behind is lane 5. We've got Anna Morgan and also lane 2, Charlotte Hardy, but Katie Goodburn 32.69, Charlotte Hardy 33.81 and 33.96 for Anna Morgan. Very good heat swim from Katie there, 32. I'm sure she'll be hoping for a little bit more tonight.
And just like that, here comes the last female heat, last women's heat of the morning. 50 breaststroke heat number 6. Ailey Stewart, Nuala Gow, Olwen Cook, Maya Hall, Cara Hanlon, Katie Robertson, Lemajurier, Ali, De Grossa and Owenson. That's your lineup for the women's 50 breaststroke heat 6.
So Cara Hanlon would be the one to watch here. But it's lane 5. Katie Robertson has got the best of the first 15 metres. But now Cara is cutting into her stroke and picking up the rate there. Just building momentum, it looks like. She's looking good heading into the last 15. As does Katie, holding on for second. Cara's entered on a 31.0. Just outside, 31.59, a good heat swim. I think that's the only 31 we saw this morning.
It is, it's about
So
a second
she'll be
clear of
taking
everybody else, yeah.
Pole position into the A final, which I'm sure is she'll be glad to be heading into lane 4.
So Hanlon 31.59, Robertson 32.8, Cook 33.9, that's your top 3.
That was the final heat there.
And here's the lineup for the final, 31.59, of course Hanlon out front. Katrina Stewart, 34.24, is in 10th. Kjellstrup in the middle lane, 11th place, so she'll be reserved for the final, followed by Amy Watson. And that brings us to the final event of the morning, Charlie, the men's 50 metres breaststroke. Event with a particular resonance and significance in British swimming. Of course, world record holder Adam Peaty, who's unfortunately incurred an injury recently, but is very much back in the thick of things, keeping himself in shape and hoping for better things to come in the summer. Of course, from a Scottish point of view, breaststroke is a strong feature in our senior men's programme, having had, well, way back when, having had David Wilkie, but more recently Michael Jamieson, Ross Murdoch, Craig Benson and others. So we'll be watching one or two of them a wee bit later on, but in this first heat, Kyle Wong, Jake Mckenzie, Marta McInnes, Logan van der Meulen, Torrin Liversidge, Mark Watchorn, Ben McLaughlin, Lewis Moyer and Lewis Gray. That is the first heat of the men's 50 metres breaststroke, and wouldn't really expect there to be much between these boys, given that there's only something like 0.39 between them on the entry programme.
Well, Martin McInnes is putting it down here in the first heat. I wouldn't normally see him on a 50 breast, Martin McInnes, more of a freestyler, but he's entered here trying something different, and it looks like it's going well so far. Just trying to time that finish right. He's got 31.16. That's pretty respectable. It's a nearly 2-second PB from the 24-year-old. Rare to see.
That was the opposite of the commentator's curse. I said there wouldn't be much between them, and there he goes and throws down a massive PB. He's probably not done that since he was about 12.
Probably. A great swim from Lewis Gray as well, moving it forward on a 32.79, and Jake Mckenzie third, 33.62.
So 5 heats to go. Heat 2 of the men's 50 breaststrokes. Swally Talib, Dylan McCombie, Rogers Kringelis, Ewan Weir, Owen Carroll, Gavin Roberts, Jack Mitchell, Jamie Jardine, Marcus Blake and Guy Semple. Oh, that looked like a pretty swift start from lane number 6. We'll see what the officials make of that.
Hopefully not a disqualification. Looks to be going well, lane 6. But also Gavin Roberts in lane 5 from City of Glasgow. He's doing well. Actually one of our para swimmers. He's swimming well here, but also in lane 2, Royas. Looks like he's taking the win there, 32-32.
Yeah, well done to him, and as I sadly predicted, disqualification for Jack Mitchell for literally jumping the gun, going before the start signal. So that brings us to heat number 3. Again, several repeat offenders having swum already this morning, but 1 or 2, this will be their main event. So we have Tony Joe Tret-Oliver, Adam Scott, David Blair, Greg Fairbairn, Matthias Christensen, Connor Morrison, Albert Bangan, Sam Harrison, Jake Holmes and Luke Hornsey. Heat 3, men's 50 breaststroke. Another para swimmer here, Paralympian in fact, Connor Morrison in lane number 5.
Lane 4 looking good, Matthias. As well as Albert in lane 6. But another good swim from Tony Joe Tret-Oliver in 0. Might get second, but the race is going to Matthias Christensen in 4. 30.19, followed by 30.87. Tony Joe, and third place going to Greg Fairbairn in 31.46.
So just 3 heats to go. The seeded heats take us to the end of this morning's session. This one will be heat number 4. We'll have Harper Whitehead, Sam Pease, Charlie Truckman, Snorri Dagger Jainarsson, Russ Young, Jonas Gower, Daddy Bjornsson, Micah Van Vleck, Ethan Horn and Connor Mitchell. That's your lineup for the men's 50 breaststroke heat 4.
Just 3 races remain this morning. And coming up strong, lane 5, Jonas looking good, as well as lane 6, Daddy. These 2 boys look like they're going to take this heat unless lane 4 can push through. Ross. But it looks like lane 6 just going to get there on the touch. 29.17. Jonas 29.29 and Ross Young 29.39.
So they've set the standard now as the first of the seeded heats for the 2 remaining heats. In this next one we have Aaron Jonsson, Andrew Arthur, Joshua Mitchell, Elias Elsgaard, Archie Goodburn, Usain Cook, Yusuf Betut, Marius Kingelis, Connor Massey and Liam Davis. That's your lineup for the penultimate heat of the men's 50 metres breaststroke.
So Katie had a good swim. I hope to see the same from Archie here in lane 4. Definitely looking good. Also looking good with a high stroke rate, Yusuf Batu in 6. Swimmer at City of Glasgow, as well as a fellow coach. He had a great British Championships. Trying to move it forward, but it looks like lane 4 Archie Goodburn is taking the win here. 28.36, second going to Elias, 29.39, and third going to Usain, 29.40.
That's moved on a wee bit there from Archie Goodburn. did the consideration time for the 50 and the 100 breaststroke Scottish Commonwealth Games team, so he'll be hoping for good news shortly. Former World Junior Championship bronze medalist in this event.
Final heat of the morning.
This is it. Final heat of the morning, yep. Heat 6. Alex Meyer, Kari Snar, Hydorson, Robert Pedersen, Hugh Takamoto, Craig Benson, Rory Dixon, Einar Margeir Hutchison, William Ellington, Murray Pritchard and Don Bissett.
So our fastest seed, Craig Benson, heading in lane 4. Another one who had a good British Championships. Craig Benson training 3 times a week in the early mornings and doing gym as he works a full-time job now. But great to see him swimming so well on the back of that, and he's taken the lead of this final heat. 28.60 taking first there. Rory Dixon in second, 29.07. And lane 6 taking third, 29.10.
Bit sluggish on those 50 breaststrokes, I think it would be fair to say, both the men's and the women's. Cara Hanlon looking good in the women's event. In the men's event, not anything too fast to write home about, but Craig Benson heads the field there in 28.60. Just waiting for the top 10 to come up. There we are. Goodburn 28.36, Benson 28.6, down to Takamoto 29.45.
And we have a bonus swim. We have a swim off for the women's 100 metres butterfly. 2 Edinburgh swimmers. Looks like one might be Lauren Patterson. Can you spot the other one, Alan?
I don't.
We've not been informed, but I'm sure it's going to be on the scoreboard in a second.
It will be, and just while we're waiting for the names to come up, we can reflect on the fact that in a swim off, often both swimmers will go faster than they went in the heat just a few minutes or a couple of hours before. Why is that, do you think, Charlie?
Well, this is your final, really. If it's a swim off for the final, you're either going to make it through or you're not. So you might as well swim as best you can. And you often see people, you saw a lot of it at the British Championships, where the swimmers would have made an A final, but they were actually swimming off for a B final, for example. And it's head to head. You've got nowhere to hide. So we do have Abigail Stemp in lane 4 and Lauren Patterson in 5.
Both of whom have had fairly busy mornings, it'd be fair to say, so they're going to round it off with another swim in this women's 100 fly.
So here we go, all eyes on them. Nowhere to hide. We'll see how they go. Really level here, even on the reaction times. 0.67, 0.63, it's nothing to split them yet. Lauren slightly behind, looks like Abigail's taking the lead now, heading into the third 25. And we'll see how they approach the second 50. Abigail's going to touch first, 29.46. Lauren on 30.3. Good underwater phase from Lauren. Abigail's still holding the lead.
That's a really positive swim, isn't it, from Abigail taking things out there. But
Lauren is still holding on, and she's maybe even making some ground. We've only got 15 metres. It might not be enough. Abigail looking good. Yeah, it's going to be Abigail's race here. She's taking that place in the final. And 104.52 for Lauren Patterson's 105.12. Good job, girls.
Good job, girls. Go and swim down.
Yeah, definitely.
So that brings us to the end of what was a fairly rapid session. Just a couple of hours worth of swimming, just over 2 hours. Gets us underway in the 2022 Glasgow International Swim Meet. As we're wrapping up, Charlie, your best swim, male and female of the morning?
I'd say my best male swim would go to, was it Charlie? Surname?
Brown.
Charlie Brown, 200 back, brilliant in 2 minutes. Really swam it how he would want to swim it. Just need a little bit more and maybe the back end. Best female swim, I'd say Kiana McInnes, 100 fly. Great swims.
Yeah, no issue with those. I think Cara Hanlon's 50 breaststroke was pretty good for her too. If we're going to add in another swim of quality, we are back. Coverage begins at 12:20 in the second session. Thank you very much for joining us wherever you are. We look forward to seeing you and hearing from you using social media channels if you wish over the course of the weekend. So that wraps things up for session 1. Thank you, Charlie. I'll be back with you tonight for the final session, hopefully accompanied by another star backstroker, all to be revealed. We'll see you then. Thank you very much.
Thank you.